There's something powerful about an artist who can raise his hands to the sky and make you feel like the message is bigger than the music. No gimmicks, no weapons, just words, truth, and presence. That's the kind of energy we're talking about here. In a world constantly searching for meaning, artists like Lauryn Hill once gave voice to a generation. And even today, there are still dreamers, people who carry vision in their eyes and purpose in their words. But not every artist walks that line with balance. Some carry truth, while quietly navigating their own contradictions. And that brings us to Common. Let's be honest, if you saw him walking down the street, you might think he just stepped out of a health-conscious commercial. Calm, composed, almost too polished. But then he grabs a mic, and suddenly it feels like he's challenging systems, questioning society, and speaking directly to the soul of America. He's the kind of rapper who can deliver a verse about justice and inequality, and then disappear from the spotlight when conversations turn toward long-term commitment in his personal life. And somehow, despite all of that, he rarely gets painted as the villain. So how does that happen? Let's break it down. Common was born as Lonnie Rashid Lynn Jr., growing up on the south side of Chicago, a place known for both struggle and resilience. His upbringing was a unique mix of structure and inspiration. His mother, Dr. Mahalia Hines, was an educator, someone deeply rooted in knowledge, discipline, and intellectual growth. His father, Lonnie Lynn Sr., had a background in professional basketball before transitioning into youth counseling. So you could say Common was raised at the intersection of athletic energy and academic wisdom, a blend of physical drive and mental depth. As a teenager, he didn't waste time figuring out his passion. He formed a rap group called CDR while still in high school. They even got the chance to open for major acts like NWA, a huge opportunity for a young artist. But life doesn't always follow a straight path. He later enrolled at Florida A&M University to study business, possibly aiming for a more traditional career. But after about 2 years, it became clear that his heart wasn't in it. Music wasn't just an interest, it was a calling. So he made a bold decision. He dropped out. No backup plan, no guarantees, just belief. In the early days, he performed under the name Common Sense, a name that reflected intelligence, awareness, and grounded thinking. But as his career began to grow, he ran into an unexpected issue: a legal conflict with a rock band using the same name. Rather than fight it endlessly, he adapted. He shortened the name to simply Common, and ironically, that simpler name would go on to represent an artist who is anything but ordinary. The 1990s were a transformative time for hip-hop, and Common emerged as a voice of substance during that era. His 1994 album Resurrection helped establish him as a serious lyricist, someone focused on storytelling, reflection, and meaning rather than just commercial appeal. But it was his 2000 album Like Water for Chocolate that truly elevated his status. This project wasn't just music, it was commentary. One of his most notable songs, I Used to Love Her, became a metaphorical narrative about hip-hop itself. In the track, he describes hip-hop as a woman he once loved deeply, but who changed over time, becoming something less authentic. It was both a tribute and a critique. Not everyone appreciated that message. The song sparked tension, particularly with Ice Cube, leading to one of the more memorable lyrical conflicts in hip-hop at the time, and Common didn't back down. He responded with sharp lyricism, proving he could defend his perspective while staying true to his artistic identity. The early 2000s approached. Common entered a new phase of his career. He connected with Kanye West and became part of the Good Music label, a move that would reshape his sound and broaden his audience. In 2005, he released the album Be. This project was a turning point. Managed to do something rare: combine conscious, meaningful lyricism with mainstream appeal. Suddenly, Common wasn't just respected, he was widely recognized. He proved that you didn't have to sacrifice depth to achieve success, but music wasn't the only lane he explored. Hollywood came knocking, and Common answered. He transitioned into acting with a surprising level of ease, appearing in films like American Gangster and later stepping into action roles, including John Wick Chapter 2, where he shared intense scenes with Keanu Reeves. What stood out wasn't just his presence, it was his ability to bring calm intensity to every role. Even in action sequences, there was a sense of control, almost like he was still delivering poetry, just through movement instead of words. He also showed a lighter side in romantic films, proving his versatility as a performer. At one point, his influence reached a historic level. Former US President Barack Obama invited Common to perform at the White House. Think about that for a moment. A rapper, once seen as controversial in mainstream spaces, standing in one of the most powerful buildings in the world, delivering poetry. For many, it was a moment of progress. For others, it sparked criticism and backlash. Some political voices questioned the decision, suggesting his past lyrics were too controversial. But in reality, nothing dramatic happened. No chaos. No disruption, just art. Over the years, Common built an impressive list of achievements. He didn't just win awards, he crossed into rare territory. He earned an Oscar for the song Glory, created alongside John Legend for the film Selma, a powerful anthem tied to the civil rights movement. On top of that, he secured a Grammy and an Emmy. That combination places him in an elite category of artists who have succeeded across multiple platforms: music, film, television. Each step reinforced his reputation as more than just a rapper. Despite changes in the industry, Common has remained consistent in his message. He continues to speak about empowerment, social justice, and personal growth. Some critics argue that his style is too predictable, that he leans too heavily into being the conscious rapper. But others see something different. They see reliability, comfort, authenticity, like a familiar hoodie you keep going back to because it still feels right. Success often looks smooth from the outside. Awards, recognition, influence, it can all give the impression of a life perfectly in control. But behind that calm image, there are always deeper layers. And for Common, those layers reveal a story that's far more complex than his composed public persona suggests. Because while his career continued to rise, his personal journey took turns that were far more difficult to navigate. As time went on, Common didn't drift away from his core message. Instead, he refined it. His later projects carried a tone that blended activism, reflection, and emotional awareness. His work began to feel less like performance and more like conversation, something meant to challenge, heal, and provoke thought all at once. One of his more recent releases, A Beautiful Revolution, Part 2, reflects this perfectly. The project feels like a fusion of multiple worlds, part protest, part therapy session, and part musical expression. It's layered with ideas about social justice, inequality, and the responsibility individuals have to create change. Common doesn't just point out problems. He tries to offer perspective and solutions. He raises questions about major global issues, critiques systems that appear broken, and paints vivid imagery of communities under pressure. His words often feel like snapshots of reality, raw, sometimes uncomfortable, but intentional. This is where Common thrives, at the intersection of art and awareness, but even the most thoughtful voices carry hidden pain. In 2019, Common released his memoir, Let Love Have the Last Word. On the surface, it's a reflection on relationships, growth, and emotional healing. But within its pages lies something much deeper and much more personal. For the first time, he opened up about a traumatic experience from his childhood. He revealed that he had been sexually abused at a young age, something he had suppressed for years. The memory didn't fully surface until he was working on a film centered around trauma. During the process, something shifted. A line in the script triggered emotions he hadn't fully understood before. What followed was a painful realization, and eventually, a decision to speak. Admitting something like that publicly takes an immense amount of courage, especially for someone in the public eye, where vulnerability is often judged instead of understood. But Common chose to tell his story anyway, not for attention, but to break silence. He expressed a desire to help others feel less alone, to encourage people to confront their own experiences instead of burying them. And perhaps most striking of all, he chose forgiveness. Not because the past could be erased, but because holding on to pain would only continue the cycle. But just as he was opening up about his own trauma, a different kind of story began to circulate. Singer Jaguar Wright made serious allegations against Common, claiming that he had engaged in inappropriate behavior during a past encounter. The story quickly spread online, drawing intense reactions from the public. Situations like this are complicated. They unfold in real time, often without clear answers, and opinions form quickly, sometimes without full context. Common responded in a way that reflected his usual demeanor, calm, measured, and controlled. He denied the allegations completely. Rather than escalate the situation, he chose to respond with restraint, suggesting that the accuser might be dealing with personal challenges he couldn't fully understand. To some, his response felt mature and composed. To others, it raised more questions. And like many controversies involving public figures, the truth became difficult to separate from speculation. While controversies added tension to his public image, his romantic life also kept him in the spotlight, though in a very different way. If you look at Common's dating history, it reads, almost like a timeline of influential women across music, film, sports, and media. His first serious relationship was with Kim Jones, with whom he shares a daughter. Their relationship ended early, but it marked an important chapter in his personal life. Then came Erykah Badu, an artist known for her spiritual presence and unique creative energy. Their relationship had a noticeable impact on Common, influencing both his music and emotional expression during that time. After their split, he openly spoke about how deeply it affected him. It wasn't just a breakup, it was a transformation. He later dated actress Taraji P. Henson. Their relationship was more private but still meaningful. Even after it ended, there seemed to be mutual respect between them. Then there was Serena Williams, one of the greatest athletes of all time. Their relationship drew attention from both the sports and entertainment worlds. It was described as mature and respectful, though they kept much of it out of the public eye. Angela Rye, a political strategist and media personality, was another important figure in his life. Their connection blended activism and personal chemistry, though it eventually came to an end as well. Then came Tiffany Haddish. Their relationship felt different, more open, more playful. Haddish even described it as one of the best relationships she had experienced. They shared moments publicly, joked together, and seemed genuinely connected. But once again, timing and life direction pulled them apart. And then, perhaps one of the most talked about relationships, Jennifer Hudson. Their connection seemed strong, built on admiration and creative chemistry. There were even hints that it could lead to something long-term, but in the end, it didn't. The pattern became difficult to ignore. Common often found deep connections, but long-term commitment seemed to remain just out of reach. Some see it as hesitation, others see it as someone still searching for alignment. Either way, it became part of his public narrative. What makes Common's story so compelling is the contrast. On our one hand, he represents awareness, growth, and emotional intelligence. On the other, his personal life reflects complexity, inconsistency, and unanswered questions. And maybe that's the point, because no one is entirely one thing. Public figures are often expected to fit into clear categories, hero or villain, right or wrong. But real life doesn't work that way. People evolve. They make mistakes. They grow, and sometimes they struggle while doing it. Common's journey sits right in that space, between perception and reality.